The first time Maya Carter realized humiliation could echo, it wasn't the shouting that stayed in her bones. It was the sound of 100 phones rising at once, a forest of glowing screens, a chandeliered lobby in a historic Charleston hotel, white orchids the size of dinner plates, linen suits and diamond bracelets. And Maya, still wearing her black bar vest, still smelling like citrus peel and bourbon, being dragged backward by a security guard like she was a problem to be removed. "Stop resisting, ma'am! I'm not resisting, let go! I didn't—" "Thief!" the bride screamed, her voice cutting through the marble like a snapped violin string. "She stole my ring!" The crowd gasped, hungry and horrified in the exact same breath. Maya's wrist twisted as the guard shoved her toward the revolving doors. Her shoes slid on polished stone. Her palms were slick with panic. Then she opened her fist, and there it was, a gold ring with an antique cut stone that caught the chandelier light like trapped lightning. The inside band flashed a thin line of engraving, so small you'd miss it if your whole world wasn't narrowing to a single object. A date. Tomorrow's date. Maya's throat tightened. Her pulse beat in her ears like drums, because what kind of family heirloom carried a date for the future? And why did seeing it make her feel like someone had just whispered her name from a locked room? Can you imagine being called a thief in front of strangers and realizing the thing they're accusing you of taking might be the key to a secret they'd kill to keep? The bride, Sloane Ashford, stood at the center of the lobby like she owned the air. Her gown wasn't on yet, but she wore a white silk robe with Mrs. embroidered in gold across the back like a crown. Her hair was pinned up perfectly. Her eyes were bright with something that wasn't just anger, fear. Sloane pointed at Maya like she was pointing at a stain. "Get her out, now!" Maya tried to speak. Tried to find words strong enough to survive a room full of people who had already decided. "I found it on the floor," Maya said, voice shaking. "Near the service corridor. I was going to turn it in." Sloane's mouth curled. "Of course you were." A woman in a blush dress, one of the bridal party, laughed like it was entertainment. Someone else whispered, "Typical." Typical. Maya hated that word. The way people used it like a verdict when they didn't know your name. The guard shoved the door. Cold air slapped Maya's face as the revolving glass began to turn. "Please," Maya said, not because she expected mercy, but because she needed to be heard once in her life. "Let me talk to the groom, Ethan. He'll know." Sloane stepped forward, her smile sharp. "You will never speak to him. You hear me? Not today." Not ever. Maya's fingers tightened around the ring. Instinct, not greed. Like the ring was a tiny beating heart, and her hand was the only thing keeping it alive. Another guard approached with a hand hovering near his radio. "Ma'am," he warned, "if you don't cooperate, we will call police." And there it was, the threat that always worked. Maya looked back through the glass. She saw the hotel manager, Mr. Harlan, standing behind Sloane, his expression polite and hard, not surprised, not concerned, just ready, like he'd rehearsed this. Maya's eyes caught one more detail before the door swallowed her. A man near the far column, half hidden behind a floral display, mid-40s, neat beard, simple dark suit, no flashy watch, no loud tie. He wasn't filming, he wasn't whispering, he was watching, not Maya's shame, the ring. His gaze flicked to Maya's clenched fist and held there, steady as a measuring tape. Maya didn't know him, but the way he looked at that ring made the back of her neck prickle. The door released Maya onto the sidewalk like it was spitting her out. A gust of coastal wind snapped her ponytail against her cheek, Carriages clopped down the street. A line of guests in pastel moved inside, laughing, oblivious to the girl they'd just thrown away. The guard held out his palm. "Give me the ring!" Maya stared at his hand, then at the engraved date again, like it might rearrange itself into an explanation. "I didn't steal it," she said. "I don't care," he replied. "Management says return it, then leave. You're banned from property." Banned, like she was poison. Maya swallowed. If she handed it over, she'd lose the only thing that proved she'd touched it at all. The only thing that connected her to that strange inscription. The only clue that her gut was screaming mattered. If she kept it, she'd look guilty, and in a city like Charleston, guilt wasn't about truth. It was about who had power. Her eyes darted to the street, to the curb, to the valet stand. She could run. She'd run before. Foster homes, bad jobs, rooms rented in cash. She'd learned how to disappear like it was a skill. But the ring felt warm in her palm now, like it had been waiting for her. Maya took a shaky breath and closed her fingers. "I'm leaving," she said, and turned away before her voice could break. Behind her, the guard's voice was flat. "If that ring doesn't show up inside in 5 minutes, I'm calling it in." Maya walked faster. Then faster. Her heart hammered as she rounded the corner and ducked into an alley between a boutique and a brick cafe. She pressed her back against the wall, breathed in the smell of roasted coffee and rain-damp stone, and looked at the ring again. The engraving was tiny, delicate, 2 lines. The first was a set of initials, E.L. The second was the date, 06-14, tomorrow, June 14th. Maya's mouth went dry. Because she knew that date, not from a calendar, from a file, from the folder she'd once seen in a caseworker's office when she was 12, when she'd been old enough to read but young enough not to understand what it meant, that some people's lives were kept in manila paper. She remembered the way the caseworker had flipped a page too fast. She remembered one line, stamped and typed. Birth date, 0614, Maya's own birthday. Her skin went cold. No, that was impossible. It had to be coincidence. Dates existed, initials existed. Plenty of people were born on June 14th, but not like this. Not engraved inside a ring that a bride had just tried to rip out of her hand like it was a loaded weapon. Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. She fumbled it out and saw a notification from the bar manager at the hotel. "Don't come back." "Harlan says you're done." Just like that, one accusation, one scream, and her paycheck, rent money gone. Maya stared at the message, then at the ring. If the ring was nothing, she could toss it in a mailbox and be done. If the ring was something, she was holding a door handle to a room full of answers, and maybe danger. Her stomach clenched. She needed someone who didn't look at her like typical. She needed Ruth. Ruth's diner sat 3 blocks from the harbor, wedged between a used bookstore and a small church with peeling paint. It smelled like bacon and cinnamon and old coffee, the kind that had been warmed too many times, but still felt like home. Ruth was behind the counter when Maya walked in, her gray hair twisted into a loose bun, her arms strong from lifting pie trays and life's burdens with the same ease. She took one look at Maya's face and set her mug down slowly. "Oh, honey," Ruth said, voice softening. "What happened?" Maya's throat tightened. She hated crying. It made people think you were weak. It made them think you were lying. But Ruth had never treated her like a problem. Maya slid into a booth and opened her fist. The ring sat on the table like a tiny sun. Ruth's eyes widened. That's not from a pawn shop, she murmured. Maya let out a shaky laugh that sounded nothing like humor. No, it's from the Langford Hotel. Ruth's eyebrows shot up. From that wedding circus. Maya nodded. Ruth leaned forward, her gaze sharpening. Tell me everything. So Maya did. The accusation, the phones, the ban, the manager's cold eyes, the way Sloane's rage looked more like panic. The man watching from the column, and then Maya turned the ring over, squinting at the inside. There's an engraving, Maya whispered, initials, and a date. Tomorrow. Ruth reached out, careful, and picked up the ring. She didn't slide it on. She simply held it to the light and peered like she was reading history in gold. Her face changed, not shock, recognition. Maya, Ruth said slowly, where did you say you found this? Near the service corridor, Maya replied, by the storage doors. Ruth's thumb traced the band. This isn't just a ring. This is old, like old. That stone, that cut, and these initials? What do they mean? Maya asked. Ruth swallowed, then looked up. Her gaze was suddenly serious enough to quiet the whole diner. E.L. could be a lot of names, Ruth said. But in Charleston, in this neighborhood, in that hotel, there's one. Maya's pulse spiked. Who? Ruth hesitated, like she was deciding whether to open a door that had been closed for decades. Elowen Larkins, she finally said. Maya blinked. Who's that? Ruth's voice dropped. She was the founder's wife. The original family behind the Langford Hotel before the company grew and the names got polished. There's an old story about a ring she wore, a ring she used like a key. Maya stared at her. A key. Ruth nodded once. My daddy used to deliver linens to that hotel back when I was a kid. He said there was a lockbox and only one person ever opened it. Elowen. And she wore that ring like it was part of her hand. Maya's stomach rolled. But why would it have my birthday engraved inside? Ruth's gaze softened. I don't know. Maya's hand trembled as she reached for the ring again. Like touching it might steady her. Ruth placed her own hand over Maya's, warm and solid. Listen, Ruth said. I don't know what's going on at that fancy hotel, but I do know this. Sloane Ashford doesn't scream like that unless she's trying to control something. Maya swallowed. She said it's her family ring. Ruth snorted. Sloane's family made money selling skincare on social media 10 years ago. That ring predates Instagram by about 100 years. Maya almost smiled. Almost. But if it's not hers, Maya whispered, why is she acting like she owns it? Ruth's eyes narrowed. Because she thinks it will buy her something bigger than jewelry. Maya leaned back, mind racing. There was a reason that ring had fallen where she could find it. There was a reason it carried her date. There was a reason the bride was terrified. And there was a reason that quiet man in the lobby had watched the ring like it was a live wire. Ruth straightened. You hungry? Maya shook her head. Ruth ignored her and slid a plate of toast and scrambled eggs onto the table anyway. Eat. You think better with food in you. Maya picked at the toast, barely tasting it. Ruth wiped her hands on her apron. Now, you got two choices. Maya looked up. Ruth's eyes held hers. You can run, throw that ring in the river, disappear, and let them paint you whatever color they want. Maya's throat tightened. Or, Ruth continued, you can stay. Maya's chest constricted. Ruth's voice turned firm, like a mantra forged from years of watching people survive. Stay, don't run. The words landed in Maya like a hand on her spine. Stay, don't run. Maya had run her whole life. But something in that ring felt like it had been waiting for her to stop. Maya swallowed hard. I don't even know what I'm staying for. Ruth nodded like that was fair. Then you find out. Maya's phone buzzed again, this time a text from an unknown number. Return what you took. Last chance. Maya's blood turned to ice. Ruth saw her face and leaned in. Who's that? Maya showed her. Ruth's lips pressed into a line. They got your number. Probably from my employee file, Maya whispered. Ruth exhaled slowly. Okay, then we do this smart. Maya stared at the ring. Smart wasn't something life had always allowed her. But maybe, just maybe, the ring was offering her a new kind of luck. Ruth grabbed her keys from beneath the counter. There's a woman at the Historical Records office, Celia. She owes me a favor. If Velo and Larkins is connected to that ring, Celia will find the paper trail. Maya blinked. Records office. Ruth nodded. If there's a secret, honey, it's written down somewhere. Rich folks don't trust memory. They trust documents. Maya swallowed. Documents, paper, proof. Sloane had screamed because she didn't want proof in Maya's hands. Maya nodded once. Okay. Ruth's gaze was steady. And Maya? Yeah. Ruth's voice softened again. Whatever you think you are, whatever they're calling you. Maya's throat tightened. Ruth finished quietly. You're not that. Maya looked down at the ring, and for the first time since the lobby, her shaking slowed. Outside, the city glittered like a postcard. Inside, Maya held a ring that might blow a wedding apart. And somewhere, behind polished smiles and white roses, a bride was already planning her next move. Before they left, Maya did one thing she never did when she was scared. She opened her phone and started recording. Just a voice memo, the screen black, her breath audible. June 13th, she whispered into the mic. I found a ring at the Langford Hotel. Bride accused me of stealing. They banned me. I'm keeping this record in case something happens. Her voice shook, but it existed. Proof she had existed. Then she tucked the phone into her pocket and followed Ruth out into the warm Charleston afternoon. And if you're still with Maya right now, tell me where you're watching from, what city, what country, because this story is about to take a turn so sharp you'll feel it in your stomach. And if you don't want to miss the moment the truth finally hits that ballroom, make sure you're subscribed. They drove to the County Records building, a squat structure that looked unimpressive compared to the grandeur of the hotel. Inside, the air smelled like dust and old paper, the kind of dust that held names. Ruth marched up to the desk like she owned the place. A woman with glasses and tightly curled hair looked up, her expression already annoyed, until she saw Ruth. "Ruthie!" the woman exclaimed, her voice warming. "What are you doing here? You finally got tired of diner gossip and came to join the world of silence." Ruth laughed. "Celia, don't start. I need you." Celia's eyes flicked to Maya. "And who is this?" "Maya," Ruth said. "She's family in the way that matters." "She's in trouble." Celia's humor faded. "What kind of trouble?" Maya hesitated, then placed the ring on the counter. Celia leaned in, her eyes widening as if the ring had spoken. "Where did you get that?" Celia whispered. Maya's heart thumped. "I found it, at the Langford Hotel." Celia's gaze snapped up. "You found Eloan's ring." Ruth crossed her arms. "So you do know it?" Celia licked her lips, nerves flickering in her eyes. "Everybody in these records knows that ring, not because we've seen it, because we've seen the damage." Maya's stomach dropped. "Damage?" Celia glanced around, then motioned them toward a side door. "Come, not here." She led them into a small back room lined with metal shelves and boxes. The fluorescent light buzzed overhead like a warning. Celia shut the door and lowered her voice. That ring is tied to the Larkins' trust. Maya blinked. Trust? Celia nodded, tapping the ring gently. Elowen Larkins was complicated. She married into money, built an empire with her husband, and then, after he died, she realized what power really meant. Ruth frowned. I've heard stories. Celia's mouth tightened. Stories don't cover it. Idowin was a hurricane wearing pearls. Maya swallowed. What does the ring do? Celia exhaled slowly. There was a lockbox, and there was a codicil. A what? Maya asked. Celia's eyes met hers. A codicil is an amendment to a will, a separate document that changes the terms. Maya's skin prickled. Changes what terms? Celia hesitated, then reached for a file folder from a shelf. The label was faded, handwritten. Larkins, Ilowan Estate. Celia flipped it open, scanning. The Larkins Trust eventually merged into what became Langford Hospitality, the hotel, the properties, the money. There were conditions. Ruth leaned forward. What kind of conditions? Celia's lips pressed together. The kind that make people behave, the kind that make them marry the right person. The kind that make them fight like dogs when someone threatens the structure. Maya's stomach churned. Sloane is marrying Ethan Langford. Celia froze. Ruth's eyebrows lifted. Ethan Langford. That Ethan. Celia's face went pale. Oh no. Maya's heart slammed. What? Celia looked between them, then at the ring again. Because if Ethan is marrying Sloane tomorrow, and you have that ring, Maya's throat went dry. Say it. Celia's voice came out thin. It means someone thinks you can unlock something, Ruth whispered. A lockbox. Celia nodded. And if someone thinks you can unlock it, they'll do anything to get that ring back. Maya's hands shook. Why would I be able to unlock anything? I'm nobody. Celia's gaze sharpened. Nobody isn't a category rich people recognize. You're either useful or disposable. Maya flinched. Celia softened slightly. If there's a codicil linked to that ring, it might require proof of identity, a bloodline, a date, something only the right person has. Maya stared at the engraving again. E.L. 0614. Her birthday. Maya's chest tightened like a fist. Ruth's voice was careful. Celia, can you find anything about that date? Celia swallowed and flipped pages, scanning with quick, practiced eyes. Her finger paused on a line. Her face changed. Maya's stomach dropped. What is it? Celia's voice trembled. Elowen, she had a child. Ruth blinked. I thought she didn't. Celia shook her head. That's what the family wanted the city to believe. But this file says there was a daughter, hidden, removed from records. Maya's lungs felt too small. Why? Celia's eyes flicked to Maya's face, lingering on her features like she was comparing shapes. Then Celia whispered, because the daughter disappeared. Ruth's breath caught. Disappeared how? Celia's voice dropped. She was declared dead. No body, no grave, just paperwork. Maya's skin went cold. Paperwork can lie, Celia nodded slowly. Yes, it can. Maya's mind spun. A hidden daughter. A declared death. A ring engraved with a future date. Sloane marrying into that family tomorrow. Maya felt like she was standing in front of a wall that looked solid until you tapped it and realized it was hollow. Ruth's voice was low. What does the codicil say? Celia shook her head. It's not in here. The codicil itself was never filed publicly, only referenced. Maya's pulse jumped. Referenced where? Celia pointed to a notation. Here. It says the codicil is secured in private lockbox, access contingent upon signet. Maya stared at the ring. Signet. Key. Ruth's jaw tightened. So, where's the lockbox? Celia hesitated, then reached for another folder labeled Langford Hotel, Security and Assets. She pulled a yellowed sheet from inside. There's an old lockbox registry, back when the hotel had private safes for elite guests. Most were closed. Some were transferred to bank vaults when the company expanded. Maya leaned closer. Celia traced a line with her finger. Lockbox 117, registered to E. Larkins. Status: retained on premises per directive. Ruth frowned. On premises? Still at the hotel? Celia nodded, eyes uneasy. If the registry is accurate, yes. It's supposed to be sealed. Only opened under specific legal conditions. Maya's mouth went dry. Tomorrow might be that condition. Celia's gaze met hers. Exactly. Ruth's voice sharpened. Sloane wants whatever is inside, and she's willing to ruin Maya to get it. Maya's hands clenched. But why accuse me? Why not just take it? Celia swallowed. Because you found it first, and because making you look like a thief gives them a reason to call police if you don't hand it over quietly. Ruth's eyes flashed. They're building a cage around her. Maya's stomach twisted. She thought of the lobby, the phones, the word typical. They hadn't just wanted the ring back, they'd wanted Maya silent. Ruth looked at Maya, voice steady. We don't do quiet. Maya exhaled shakily. So what do we do? Celia hesitated, then said, if you want protection, you need someone with power inside that hotel. Someone the manager can't ignore. Maya thought of the man in the lobby, the calm eyes, the way he watched the ring. Someone was watching, Maya whispered. A man. He didn't react like the others. Ruth's eyebrows lifted. Describe him. Maya described the suit, the beard, the stillness. Celia's face tightened. That sounds like Dominic Langford. Maya blinked. Who? Celia swallowed. Ethan's uncle. Founder of the hospitality group, he rarely shows up to events, but when he does, people move like he's gravity. Maya's pulse spiked. He was there. Celia nodded slowly. If Dominic Langford saw you being thrown out, and he saw that ring, Ruth exhaled. Then he knows something's wrong. Maya's hands shook. Why didn't he stop it? Ruth's voice was quiet. Maybe he wanted to see who would do the right thing. Maya stared at the ring. Do the right thing. She'd tried. She'd been punished anyway. Celia reached into her desk drawer and pulled out a small card. This is a number for the hotel's old asset office, not the front desk. They handle sensitive matters. If Dominic is involved, that office will know. Maya took the card like it was fragile. Ruth squeezed Maya's shoulder. We're not going to the hotel alone, not tonight. Maya nodded, swallowing fear. As they left the records office, Maya felt the city shift around her. Like Charleston wasn't just charm and tour boats. Like beneath the pastel facades were vaults and secrets and old families who'd rather burn a girl than lose control. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown text. You have no idea what you're holding. Maya stared at the words. Then she typed back, hands shaking. Neither do you. Ruth glanced at her screen and gave a grim smile. Atta girl. They drove back toward the diner, and Maya tried to breathe, tried to steady herself. But every time she closed her eyes, she saw Sloane's face. Not angry, terrified, as if tomorrow wasn't just a wedding, as if tomorrow was a deadline. At the diner, Ruth locked the doors early, flipped the sign to closed, and pulled down the blinds like a storm was coming. Maya sat in the back booth, ring in her pocket, voice memo app open, recording again. Ruth poured coffee, neither of them drank. Okay, Ruth said, voice practical. We plan, we don't panic. Maya laughed softly. Bitter. Those aren't the same thing. Ruth's eyes softened. They can be, if you let them. Maya swallowed. What if they call police? Ruth shrugged. Then we show proof. We show you were working. We show you found it. And we show you tried to turn it in. Maya's throat tightened. How? They'll say I stole it. Ruth reached into a drawer beneath the counter and pulled out a stack of receipts. Every shift you worked here, I kept your stubs, Ruth said. Because I know what it's like to have no one keep record of your life. Maya stared, stunned. Ruth tapped the stack. Paper. Proof. Maya's chest ached. Thank you. Ruth waved it off, but her eyes were kind. Now, we need someone in that hotel who can keep you from getting thrown out again. Maya looked down at the card Celia gave her. The asset office number. She hesitated, then dialed. It rang twice. A woman answered, voice clipped. Langford Hospitality Asset Management. Maya's mouth went dry. Hi, my name is Maya Carter. This is going to sound strange, but I think I found something that belongs to Ilawan Larkins. Silence. Then, very softly, where are you? Maya's pulse spiked. At a diner. Ruth's. I know Ruth's, the woman interrupted. Do not say your location out loud. Are you alone? Maya glanced at Ruth. No, I'm with Ruth. Good. Do you have the signet ring? Maya's throat tightened. Yes. Another pause. Then the woman's tone shifted. Lower, urgent. You need to keep that ring on your person at all times. Not in a bag, not on a table. On your person. Maya swallowed. Okay, I'm sending someone, the woman said. He'll arrive in 15 minutes. He will say the phrase, the tide keeps its promises. If he doesn't, you do not open the door. Maya's skin prickled. Who is he? Someone who can keep you safe, the woman replied. And Maya? Yeah. The woman's voice was almost gentle. Whatever happens tomorrow, you cannot let them shame you into silence. The call ended. Maya stared at her phone, breath shallow. Ruth's eyes were sharp. Well? Maya swallowed. Someone's coming, with a code phrase. Ruth nodded once. Then we wait, together. Maya's fingers found the ring in her pocket, closing around it. Stay, don't run, the words echoed. 15 minutes later, there was a knock on the diner door. Ruth lifted a rolling pin from behind the counter like she'd been waiting for this her whole life. Maya's heart pounded. Another knock. Ruth called out, "What do you want?" A male voice answered through the glass. Calm, the tide keeps its promises. Ruth exhaled and unlocked the door. The man who stepped inside was the same one Maya had seen in the lobby. Simple suit, neat beard, eyes like still water. He glanced at Maya, then at Ruth, then at the blinds drawn and the lights dimmed. "Mrs. Ruth," he said respectfully. Ruth frowned. "Do I know you?" He gave a small smile. "We've met. You sold me pie during Hurricane Dorian and told me I looked like a man who'd forgotten what hunger feels like." Ruth's eyes widened slightly, then narrowed. "Oh, you." The man's gaze returned to Maya. "Maya Carter." Maya's throat tightened. "Who are you?" He didn't puff up. He didn't posture. He simply said, "Dominic Langford." Maya felt the room tilt. Ruth swore under her breath. Dominic's eyes stayed on Maya, steady. "I'm sorry for what happened to you today." Maya's voice came out rough. "Then why didn't you stop it?" Dominic's jaw tightened. Just a flicker. "Because I needed to see who would do the right thing when it was inconvenient." Maya stared at him, and Dominic's gaze softened. "You did." Maya swallowed, anger and fear tangling. "It got me fired." Dominic nodded once. "I know. Ruth crossed her arms. "So what now, Mr. Langford? You here to take the ring and make this disappear?" Dominic's eyes flicked to Ruth, respectful. "No, ma'am. I'm here to keep her alive long enough to decide what she wants to do with the truth." Maya's stomach dropped. "Alive!" Dominic's expression didn't change, but his voice lowered. "There are people who have spent years trying to make sure certain documents never surface, and there are people who think tomorrow is the last day they can secure their future." Maya's hand tightened around the ring in her pocket. "Sloane." Dominic's gaze sharpened. "Sloane is ambitious, but she isn't the only one." Ruth's face hardened. "Who else?" Dominic exhaled slowly. "The wedding planner, the hotel manager, a few board members, and someone in Ethan's orbit who thinks he's doing Ethan a favor by keeping him ignorant." Maya's pulse raced. "Ethan doesn't know." Dominic shook his head. "Ethan believes he's marrying for love. He believes Sloane loves him. He believes the world is cleaner than it is." Ruth scoffed. "Rich boy fantasy." Dominic didn't argue. "He's a good man. That's why they chose him." Maya swallowed. "Chose him for what?" Dominic reached into his jacket and pulled out a thin leather folder. He placed it on the table, but didn't open it yet. "The Larkins codicil," Dominic said quietly, "is tied to tomorrow's date." Maya's chest tightened. "What does it say?" Dominic's gaze held hers. "It says that if Ethan Langford marries under deception, if he is coerced, trapped, or defrauded, then the controlling shares of the company will transfer, not to the spouse, but to Elowyn Larkins's direct bloodline." Maya's breath caught. "Direct bloodline." Dominic nodded slowly. Elowyn built that clause like a bomb. She knew men like her husband would try to control the future with contracts. She wanted the future to belong to someone who couldn't be bought. Ruth's voice was hoarse. "And you think that someone is Maya?" Dominic's gaze lowered to Maya's hand. "I don't think. I know the codicil requires a biometric confirmation tied to the ring's engraving. It was Elowyn's idea of poetic justice." Maya's mind spun. "But I'm not a Larkins." Dominic's eyes didn't flinch. "Maybe you were told you weren't." Maya's stomach dropped like an elevator cable snapped. Ruth put a hand on Maya's shoulder. "Honey," Maya's voice shook, "my last name is Carter. That's the name they gave me when I was 6 and my mom—" Her voice broke. Dominic's expression softened. "I'm not here to rewrite your life in 5 minutes. I'm here to tell you that tomorrow's wedding is not just a wedding, it's a transaction." "And if Sloane succeeds, the codicil can be neutralized in court for decades." Maya swallowed hard. "So she wants to marry him before the codicil is opened." Dominic nodded. "And she wants the ring, because the ring opens Lockbox 117. The lockbox contains the codicil and something else." Maya's voice was a whisper. "What?" Dominic's jaw tightened. "A letter from Elowyn. And a birth record that was never supposed to survive." Maya felt like she couldn't breathe. Ruth's eyes flashed with anger. "So, you're telling me this girl might be tied to that family, and they threw her out like trash?" Dominic's voice was low. "Yes." Maya stared at the table, at the coffee stains, at the crumbs. Her life had been cheap in every room she'd ever walked into. And now a man with power was telling her she might be the reason an empire could change hands. Maya's hands trembled. "Why would you help me?" Dominic's gaze held hers. "Because I was there when Elowyn wrote that codicil. I was young. I thought she was cruel." He swallowed, something like regret flickering in his eyes. "She told me, one day, Dominic, you'll see a person you can discard, and you'll realize they are the future you tried to control." Ruth muttered. Sounds like a warning. Dominic nodded. It was. Maya's voice was small. So what do we do? Dominic opened the folder slowly. Inside were photocopies, references, not the real thing. Old registry notes, a blueprint of the hotel's basement safe room, a list of lockbox numbers with handwritten annotations. Dominic tapped one line. 117, still on premises, still sealed. Maya swallowed. Can you open it? Dominic shook his head. Not legally. Not without triggering the codicil's conditions. Ruth frowned. Which happened tomorrow. Dominic nodded. During the ceremony, the moment vows are exchanged, the trust recognizes the marriage. That moment is the fuse. Maya's stomach twisted. So we have to stop the vows. Dominic's gaze sharpened. Or expose the deception before they happen. Ruth's eyes narrowed. How do we prove deception? Dominic's expression was grim. We prove Sloane's motive. We prove she knows about the codicil. We prove she orchestrated today's accusation to retrieve the ring. We prove she's been manipulating Ethan. Maya swallowed. How do we do that? Dominic looked at Maya, steady. We need evidence, not rumors. Evidence that can survive a courtroom and a public scandal. Maya's throat tightened. They have money, lawyers. Dominic nodded. That's why we do this carefully. He slid a phone across the table. This is a secure line. If you feel threatened, you call. If anyone contacts you, you record. If anyone offers you money, you document. Ruth snorted, like she hasn't been documenting her whole life to survive. Dominic's gaze softened. Exactly. Maya stared at the phone. Then she reached into her pocket and placed the ring on the table. Dominic's eyes fixed on it, Ruth's too. The ring sat between them like a promise. Maya's voice shook. I want to talk to Ethan. Dominic hesitated. If you go to him directly, Sloane will frame you as obsessed, dangerous. She will weaponize your vulnerability. Maya's jaw tightened. I don't care. He deserves to know. Dominic exhaled. He does, but timing matters. Ruth leaned forward. Then we control the timing. Dominic nodded slowly. We do it tonight. Not in public, not in the lobby. Somewhere Sloane can't control the narrative. Maya swallowed. Where? Dominic's gaze flicked to Ruth. The chapel. Ruth blinked. The little chapel behind the diner. Dominic nodded. It's private, quiet, and Sloane doesn't have cameras there. Maya's stomach churned. Will Ethan come? Dominic's eyes were steady. If I ask him, yes. Ruth's eyebrows lifted. You can just ask. Dominic's mouth tightened. I'm his uncle and his guardian in the eyes of the trust. He listens to me even when he doesn't understand why. Maya's throat tightened. Then ask. Dominic nodded once. I will. He stood. But Maya. Maya looked up. Dominic's voice was quiet. You need to be prepared for the possibility that what's in that lockbox changes your life, and not always in ways you asked for. Maya swallowed. My life has been changed without my permission plenty of times. Dominic's gaze softened, like he understood more than he said. Then you're stronger than most. Ruth watched him. We're not letting her get eaten by your family's mess. Dominic nodded. Serious. I won't let her either. As Dominic turned toward the door, Maya's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This time, a photo. Maya's breath caught. It was Ruth's diner. From across the street, taken seconds ago, and beneath it, one line, stay out of this. Maya's blood ran cold. Ruth saw the screen and went still. They're watching us. Dominic's expression hardened. They moved faster than I expected. Maya's voice was thin. What do we do? Dominic's eyes met hers. We stopped playing defense. He pulled out his own phone and sent a quick message. Then he looked at Maya, steady as stone. "Tonight," Dominic said, "you will not be alone again." By midnight, the rain started. Charleston rain was soft at first, like the city was apologizing. Then it thickened, turning streets into mirrors. Dominic returned 30 minutes later with two people Maya hadn't expected. A woman in a navy blazer carrying a leather briefcase, sharp eyes, calm mouth. She introduced herself as Nadia Pierce, counsel for Langford Hospitality. And a young man with a camera bag slung over his shoulder, quiet, focused, alert. Dominic called him Marcus. "Security," Dominic said, "not the kind Sloan can buy." Ruth eyed them both like she was assessing whether they'd bleed if cut. Dominic spoke quickly. "Ethan will meet us at the chapel in 45 minutes. He thinks it's a private family matter." Maya's stomach churned. "He doesn't know about me." Dominic shook his head. "Not yet." Nadia opened her briefcase and pulled out a small device. "If someone tries to claim you stole the ring, we need proof you possessed it before the accusation became public." She tapped the device. "This records time-stamped video with encrypted metadata." Maya blinked. "Like evidence?" Nadia nodded. "Exactly." "Maya, I know this is overwhelming, but I need you to do one thing right now." Maya swallowed. "What?" Nadia slid the device toward her. "Hold the ring to the camera. Turn it so the engraving is visible. State your full name, date, time, and where you found it. Then state you intended to turn it in." Maya's hand shook as she picked up the ring, held it under the light, and looked into the small lens. "My name is Maya Carter," she said, voice trembling. "It's June 13th. I found this ring near the service corridor at the Langford Hotel at approximately 2:17 p.m. I intended to turn it in to Lost and Found. I was accused publicly of stealing it." Her voice cracked. She kept going anyway. When she finished, Nadia nodded. "Good." Ruth exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for hours. "Now what?" Dominic's gaze was grim. "Now we find out who is behind the messages, because if they're photographing the diner, they're not just trying to scare Maya, they're trying to isolate her." Marcus spoke for the first time, voice low. "There's a sedan outside that's been parked for 30 minutes. No plates visible from here." Ruth's eyes narrowed. "Of course." Dominic's jaw tightened. "We leave out the back." Ruth stood straighter. "I'm not leaving my diner." Dominic's gaze softened. "We don't have to. We simply move Maya." Maya's stomach tightened. "Where?" Dominic glanced at Ruth, then back to Maya. "A guest suite at the hotel, under my name." Maya's heart slammed. "Back there?" Ruth's voice rose. "Absolutely not." Dominic held up a hand. "Not the public side, the private side, the executive wing. Cameras we control, security we control." Ruth's eyes stayed hard. "And Sloan," Dominic's expression was cold. "Sloan doesn't control the whole building. She just thinks she does." Maya swallowed. The idea of walking back into the place that threw her out made bile rise in her throat. But staying at the diner while someone photographed the windows felt like waiting to be trapped. Maya nodded slowly. "Okay." Ruth grabbed Maya's hand. "You hear me? If you feel like they're pushing you into a corner, you pull back. You don't owe them bravery." Maya's throat tightened. "I don't know how to be anything else." Ruth's eyes softened. "Then be brave, with help." They left through the back alley, rain soaking Maya's sleeves. Marcus moved like shadow, scanning. Dominic led them to a black SUV parked behind the diner. They climbed in. and the city blurred through wet glass. Maya watched the streetlights smear into gold lines and tried not to think about the wedding tomorrow. Tried not to think about how her whole life had been a series of rooms where she didn't belong. And now the biggest room in Charleston, the Langford Ballroom, was waiting. They entered the hotel through a service entrance. No marble lobby, no phones. Just concrete, fluorescent lights, and the smell of detergent. Maya's chest tightened as they passed the same corridor where she'd found the ring. She glanced down. The floor looked clean. Too clean. Like someone had scrubbed away the possibility that anything could be found there. They rode a private elevator to the executive floor. The doors opened to carpet thick as moss, walls lined with quiet art. A hush that felt expensive. A sweet door opened. Dominic ushered Maya inside. It was too big, too perfect, too unlike any space she'd ever claimed. Maya stood in the entryway like she was afraid the carpet would reject her. Dominic's voice was calm. "You can rest here. There's food, there's water. Marcus is outside. Nadia is in the adjoining room. No one gets to you without going through us." Maya swallowed. "Thank you." Dominic nodded once. "We meet Ethan at the chapel in 30 minutes. Ruth squeezed Maya's hand. "Remember," Maya's voice was small. "Stay. Don't run." Ruth smiled, sad and proud at the same time. That's it. They left the suite, and Maya followed. Ring now tucked inside her bra strap where it pressed against her skin like a heartbeat. The chapel behind Ruth's diner was small, quiet, and smelled like old wood and candle wax. It wasn't fancy. No gilded columns, just a few rows of pews and a simple cross. Maya stood near the back, hands clasped, heart pounding. She felt like she was about to walk into a courtroom with no lawyer. Dominic stood near the front, Nadia beside him, Marcus by the door. Ruth sat in the first pew like she was ready to throw herself between Maya and the world. The door opened. Ethan Langford stepped inside. He was tall, broad-shouldered, dressed casually in dark jeans and a sweater, hair slightly messy like he'd run his hand through it too many times. His face was the kind of handsome that made people forgive him before he spoke. But his eyes were tired. He looked at Dominic first. "Uncle Dom, what is this?" Dominic's voice was gentle. "Family. And something you need to hear before tomorrow." Ethan's gaze flicked to Nadia, then to Marcus, then to Maya. His brows furrowed. Confusion, then recognition. Maya's stomach dropped. He'd seen her at the bar before. She'd served him drinks during tastings. He'd smiled at her once, polite, distant. Now his eyes widened. "You," he whispered. "You're the bartender from earlier." "The one Sloane." His voice stopped, like he didn't want to say thief out loud. Maya swallowed hard. "Hi." Ethan stepped forward, face tense. "She said you stole her ring." Maya's chest tightened. "I found it." Ethan's eyes flicked to Dominic. "Uncle Dom, why is she here?" Dominic's gaze held Ethan's. "Because the ring Sloane claims is hers doesn't belong to her." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Sloane said it's been in her family for generations." Dominic's voice was flat. "Sloane lies when it benefits her." Ethan flinched, like the words were too sharp to accept. Maya's hands shook. She reached into her bra strap and pulled out the ring carefully, holding it in her palm. Ethan's gaze locked on it, his breath caught. "That's," he whispered, "that's Eloin's ring." Maya's stomach dropped. "You know it." Ethan swallowed hard. "I've seen paintings, old photos. My grandmother used to talk about it like it was a ghost story." Maya's voice trembled. "Look inside." Ethan hesitated, then stepped closer, taking the ring carefully. He turned it, Squinting at the engraving, his face changed. His eyes lifted to Maya slowly. June 14th, Ethan whispered. Maya's throat tightened. Tomorrow, Ethan's voice was hoarse. That's my birthday, Maya finished quietly. Silence. The chapel felt suddenly too small for the truth pressing against the walls. Ethan looked at Dominic, panic flickering. What does that mean? Dominic's voice was steady. It means tomorrow is not just your wedding day. It's a trigger. Ethan's face tightened. Trigger for what? Nadia stepped forward, calm and precise. A codicil connected to the Larkins Trust. A legal amendment. Ethan blinked, overwhelmed. I don't understand. Dominic's gaze softened. You weren't supposed to. Ethan's jaw clenched. Sloane knew. Dominic didn't answer immediately. That was answer enough. Ethan's hands tightened around the ring. Why would she accuse Maya? Nadia spoke softly. To get the ring back. Without leaving fingerprints on the theft, Ethan's face turned pale. So she ruined a person's life. Maya's voice cracked. She tried to... Ethan's eyes flicked to Maya, guilt crashing into them. I'm sorry. Maya swallowed hard. I'm not here for apologies. Ethan's throat bobbed. Then why are you here? Maya looked at the ring in his hand. Because I think she's using you. Ethan flinched like he'd been slapped. Dominic stepped forward, voice gentle but firm. Ethan, I need you to listen carefully. Tomorrow, if you marry Sloane under deception, the trust may activate clauses that could... Ethan shook his head, voice rising. No, this is insane. Sloane loves me. Ruth's voice cut in, calm but sharp. Son, you can love somebody and still be used by them. Ethan turned to him, startled. Who are you? Ruth stood. Ruth, I run a diner. And I've watched people use love like a rope. Ethan's eyes flickered, torn. Maya's voice was quiet. I don't know her. I don't know you. I don't know your world. But I know what it looks like when someone's scared of losing control. Ethan swallowed hard. Sloane isn't scared. Maya's gaze held his. She was terrified in that lobby. Ethan's grip tightened around the ring, knuckles whitening. If she knew about the codicil, why marry me? Dominic's voice was low. Because if she marries you, she gains legitimacy, access, a platform. Nadia added quietly. And if she can neutralize the codicil, she can secure control for years. Ethan's eyes darted between them. Neutralize how? Dominic exhaled. By controlling the ring, by controlling the lockbox, by destroying the original codicil and replacing it with something favorable. Ethan's face twisted. You're saying she'd forge... Nadia's voice was calm. People have forged less for more. Ethan's breath hitched. But why would Elowen engrave Maya's birthday into the ring? Dominic's eyes softened because Elowen believed the future should belong to the person who never had power. Maya's stomach twisted. You think I'm related to her? Ethan's gaze snapped to Maya, startled. Are you? Maya's voice shook. I don't know. Silence again. Then Ethan's face tightened with resolve. Okay. Dominic's brows lifted slightly. Okay. Ethan's jaw clenched. Okay, if Sloane is lying to me, I need proof. Real proof. Maya exhaled shakily. Ethan looked at Dominic. What do we do? Dominic's voice was steady. We gather evidence tonight. We confront Sloane with it privately. If she confesses, we stop the wedding quietly. Ethan swallowed hard. And if she doesn't? Dominic's gaze hardened. Then tomorrow, we do it publicly. Ethan's breath caught. Ruth muttered, Justice likes an audience. Ethan looked at Maya, voice soft. What do you want? Maya stared at him, heart pounding. What did she want? She wanted her job back. Her dignity, her life not to be shaped by someone else's greed. She wanted to know why the ring carried her birthday like a secret. She wanted to stop feeling like she could be erased with one accusation. Maya swallowed. "I want the truth." Ethan nodded slowly. "Then we get it." Dominic stepped closer, voice low. "There's one more thing." Ethan frowned. "What?" Dominic's jaw tightened. "The person sending those messages to Maya is not Sloane." Ethan's face went pale. "Who is it?" Dominic's eyes were cold. "Your best man." Ethan froze. Maya's stomach dropped. Ruth's voice was a hiss. "Oh, Lord." Dominic continued quietly. "Grant Harlan, the hotel manager's son, your friend since college, the man who has access to every camera, every keycard, every schedule." Ethan's eyes widened, panic flooding. "No. Grant would never." Dominic's voice was sharp. "Grant has been moving money through vendor contracts under Sloane's charity foundation. If you marry her, he keeps his pipeline. If you don't, he loses everything." Ethan's hands trembled. "This can't be real." Nadia stepped forward, opening her briefcase to reveal printed documents. "It's real. We traced payments. Not enough for a criminal case yet." "Enough for motive." Ethan's face twisted, betrayal cracking him open. Maya watched him, heart heavy. This was the part people didn't understand about justice stories. Sometimes justice wasn't just punishing the arrogant. Sometimes it was watching someone's world crumble because it was built on lies. Ethan swallowed, voice hoarse. "What do you need from me?" Dominic's gaze was steady. "Access?" Ethan nodded once, jaw tight. "You have it." Maya's heart pounded. Tonight was no longer about a ring. It was about a war hidden beneath white roses. Back at the hotel, Dominic moved like someone who knew every hallway's secret. Ethan used his keycard to bypass doors Sloane's team couldn't access. They descended into the basement level where old safes were kept, an area tourists never saw. The air was cooler down there, the light dimmer, the walls thick. Maya's breath felt loud. Marcus moved ahead, scanning. Nadia carried her briefcase like a shield. Ruth stayed close to Maya, muttering prayers under her breath like she was stitching protection into the air. Ethan stopped in front of a heavy steel door with an old keypad. "This is the safe room," Dominic nodded. "Lockbox registry says 117 is inside." Ethan typed a code. The door clicked open with a sigh like something waking. Inside were rows of small metal doors, each with a number plate. Dust clung to corners. The room smelled like cold money. Maya's skin prickled. Dominic walked down the row, finger brushing plates, counting silently. 117. He stopped. The small door looked like any other, except the number plate was worn like it had been touched more than the others. Dominic looked at Maya. "The ring." Maya's hands shook as she pulled it out. Ethan's gaze stayed on her. Something like awe and guilt tangled in his eyes. Maya stepped forward and held the ring near the lock mechanism. There was no keyhole, just a small indentation, the shape of the ring's stone. Maya's breath hitched. Dominic's voice was quiet. "Eloin didn't trust keys. Keys can be copied." Maya swallowed and pressed the ring into the indentation. A soft click. Then another. The lockbox door released. Maya froze. For a second, no one moved, as if opening that tiny metal door might unleash something that couldn't be put back. Dominic reached out and opened it slowly. Inside was a velvet pouch and a thin envelope sealed with dark red wax. Nadia exhaled softly. "There it is." Ethan's breath hitched. "That's real." Dominic pulled the envelope out carefully. The wax seal bore a small symbol, an intertwined E and L. Maya's chest tightened. Dominic didn't open it yet. He looked at Nadia. "We document?" Nadia nodded, pulling out her recording device and filming the envelope, the seal, the lockbox number, the ring. Marcus filmed too from a different angle. Proof, layers of proof. Dominic then reached into the velvet pouch and pulled out a folded paper, yellowed with age, edges crisp like it had been protected from time. A codicil. Nadia's eyes sharpened. "We need the original signature." Dominic unfolded it carefully. Maya watched the inked letters appear, elegant, sharp, slanted with confidence. Elowen Larkins. Maya's throat tightened. Ethan whispered, "I've seen her signature in old company archives." Dominic nodded. "Then you know this is her." Nadia filmed every inch. Dominic then reached back into the lockbox and pulled out one more item, a birth certificate. Maya's breath stopped. It was old, official-looking, stamped. Dominic held it like it weighed 1,000 pounds. He turned it slightly so Maya could see. Name, Elowen Larkins. Child, female. Date, 0614. Maya's vision blurred. Her lungs forgot how to work. Ruth made a sound, half sob, half gasp. Ethan's face went pale. Nadia's voice was soft. "Maya." Maya's hands trembled so hard she had to press them against her thighs to keep from collapsing. Dominic's gaze was steady, regret in the corners. "This is why they wanted the ring." Maya's voice came out broken. "This doesn't make sense." How does that connect to me?" Dominic swallowed. "It doesn't, not directly." Maya flinched. "Then," Dominic continued quietly, "there's another document." He reached into the lockbox again and pulled out a smaller envelope marked "For the child." His eyes met Maya's. "This is the part we weren't sure existed." Maya's stomach twisted. "Open it." Dominic hesitated, then looked at Nadia. Nadia nodded. Dominic broke the seal carefully and unfolded a letter. His voice was steady as he read, but something in his eyes cracked. "My sweet girl," Dominic read, "if you are reading this, it means they did not destroy you. It means the world did not swallow you whole." Maya's throat tightened. Dominic continued, "They will try to rename you. They will try to reshape you. They will try to convince you that your worth belongs to them." "It doesn't..." Ruth wiped her eyes with her apron sleeve. Though she wasn't wearing an apron, Dominic's voice softened. "I have hidden the truth in a place where only you can open it. This ring carries your date because it is yours. Not as a gift, as a reminder." Maya's hands flew to her mouth. Dominic read on, "If you stand in front of a room of people who look at you like you are nothing, remember, nothing is where futures begin." "Stay, don't run." Maya's breath hitched. Ruth's mantra, Elowen's words. The same phrase across decades like a thread. Dominic's eyes lifted, meeting Maya's. "Stay, don't run," he finished. Maya's knees nearly gave out. Ethan whispered, That's what you said earlier." Ruth choked out, "I didn't invent it." Dominic's voice was hoarse now. "Elowen did." Maya's chest ached like it was splitting. Dominic continued, "If you have this letter, you will also have the codicil. It will protect you, but it will also paint a target on you. Choose your battles, choose your kindness, and when you have the chance to be cruel in return, choose justice instead." Dominic lowered the letter slowly. Silence filled the safe room. Maya stared at the birth certificate, the codicil, the letter, the ring. Then she whispered, voice trembling, "If this letter is for Elowen's child, where is she?" Dominic's jaw tightened. "That's the question that has haunted this family for years." Ethan's voice was hoarse. "Are you saying Elowen's daughter survived?" Dominic nodded slowly. "I believe she did." Maya's stomach twisted. And if she survived, she could be my mother. Ruth grabbed Maya's hand, squeezing hard. Maya's eyes burned. Ethan stepped closer, voice soft. "Maya, I'm so sorry." Maya looked at him, tears spilling now. "I don't even know who I am." Ethan's face tightened. "You're someone who did the right thing when it cost you." Maya swallowed, shaking. "It feels like it costs me every time." Dominic's voice was quiet. "Not this time." Nadia cleared her throat gently. "We need to secure these documents. We need copies." "We need chain of custody," Marcus spoke low. "And we need to move fast. If Grant is involved, he'll notice the safe room access logs." Ethan's face hardened. "Grant won't stop me." Dominic's gaze was steady. "Grant will stop at nothing if he thinks his life is collapsing." Maya's phone buzzed. She flinched, pulling it out. Another message, this time from Grant himself. "Meet me alone. 10 minutes. Service stairwell. Or I tell them you tried to blackmail the bride." Maya's blood turned cold. Ethan's face snapped. "Give me that." Maya hesitated, then showed him. Ethan's eyes flashed with fury. "He's threatening you." Maya swallowed. "He's trying to isolate me." Dominic's voice was calm. "Which means he's scared." Ruth's jaw clenched. "We don't send her alone." Maya stared at the message, heart pounding. Part of her wanted to run. To hide, to let the rich destroy each other and slip away. But the letter's words burned in her mind. "Stay, don't run." Maya lifted her chin. "I'll meet him." Ruth's eyes widened. "Honey," Maya continued, voice shaking but firm. "Not alone, but I'll meet him." Dominic nodded slowly. "Good." Nadia's eyes sharpened. "We record." Marcus adjusted his camera bag. "We cover exits." Ethan's jaw tightened. "I'm coming." Dominic shook his head. "No, if Grant sees you, he'll shift tactics. He'll play friend. He'll lie to your face. We need him unguarded." Ethan's fists clenched. "Then what do I do?" Dominic's gaze was steady. "You prepare for tomorrow, and you decide what kind of man you want to be when the room turns against you." Ethan swallowed hard. Maya's legs trembled as they left the safe room, with the documents secured in Nadia's briefcase and the ring back against Maya's skin. The service stairwell smelled like bleach and old paint. Maya stood on the landing between floors, heart pounding so hard she thought it might shake the building. Marcus stood one flight above, out of sight. Nadia stood one flight below, also out of sight. Dominic was around the corner in the hall. Ruth wasn't far, because Ruth didn't let fear be someone else's job. Maya's phone buzzed again. "Where are you?" Maya typed back. "Here." Footsteps echoed. Grant appeared from the upper flight, descending fast. He wore a crisp suit, hairstyled, face charming, until he saw Maya. His smile flickered, then returned like a mask, snapping into place. "Maya," Grant said smoothly, "you look stressed." Maya's stomach churned. "You texted me." Grant's eyes flicked briefly to her chest like he was checking for the ring. "I did." Maya kept her voice steady. "What do you want?" Grant sighed, leaning casually against the railing like this was a friendly chat. "Look, today got out of hand. Sloane's under a lot of pressure. Weddings are crazy, you know?" Maya stared at him. "You threatened me." Grant's smile tightened. "Because you're holding something that doesn't belong to you." Maya's chest tightened. It fell on the floor. Grant's eyes sharpened. "That ring is property of the bride." Maya's voice was flat. "It's Elowen Larkins's ring." Grant's face twitched, just a fraction. Then his smile returned, colder. "You've been talking." Maya's heart pounded. "Why are you so invested?" Grant shrugged. "Because I care about Ethan." Maya let out a small, bitter laugh. No, you care about what Ethan's name can buy you. Grant's eyes flashed. Careful. Maya swallowed, forcing herself not to flinch. You took a photo of Ruth's diner. Grant's smile faded. Just a reminder that you're not invisible. Maya's hands shook. Why? Grant stepped closer, voice dropping. Because people like you forget your place. There it was. The truth. Maya's throat tightened. My place is wherever the truth is. Grant's jaw clenched. Truth is expensive, and you can't afford it. Maya stared at him, heart pounding. What are you afraid of, Grant? Grant's eyes narrowed. I'm not afraid. Maya tilted her head slightly. Then why are you threatening me instead of calling the police? Grant's smile returned, sharp. Because police make things messy. Maya's skin went cold. So you want it quiet. Grant exhaled. Give me the ring. Walk away. I'll talk to Harlan. Get you back on payroll somewhere else. Maybe even a bonus for the trouble. A bribe. Maya's stomach twisted. And what happens if I say no? Grant's eyes hardened. Then you become a problem, and problems get removed. Maya's breath hitched. Grant leaned in, voice like poison wrapped in silk. You think Dominic Langford cares about you. You're a tool, a cute little sob story to use against Sloan. Once tomorrow is done, you'll be out again. You'll be nothing again. Maya's eyes burned. The words hit where her old scars lived, but then she remembered the letter. Choose justice instead. Maya steadied herself. You know about the codicil. Grant's smile froze. Maya's pulse raced. You've known. That's why you're panicking. Grant's jaw clenched. I don't know what you're talking about. Maya held his gaze. You told Sloan. You're helping her. You're moving money through vendor contracts. Grant's face went blank. Then his eyes narrowed. Dangerous. You have no idea what game you stepped into. Maya swallowed hard. Neither did you. Grant's hand shot out, grabbing Maya's wrist. Maya gasped, pain shooting up her arm. Give it to me, Grant hissed. Now! Maya's heart slammed. Then Dominic's voice cut through the stairwell like thunder. Let her go. Grant froze. Dominic stepped into view, calm and lethal. Marcus moved behind Grant silently, blocking the escape route. Nadia appeared below, recording device in hand. Grant's face drained of color. Dominic's eyes were ice. I said let her go. Grant's grip loosened. Maya yanked her arm back, breathing hard. Grant forced a laugh, trying to recover charm. This is a misunderstanding. I was just... Dominic cut him off. You photographed Ruth's diner. Grant's smile faltered. Dominic continued, voice steady. You threatened Maya. You offered a bribe. You just assaulted her. Grant's eyes flicked to Nadia's device. His mouth tightened. Dominic's gaze hardened. And you forgot something, Grant. Grant swallowed. What? Dominic stepped closer. You're not the smartest man in the room anymore. Grant's jaw clenched. You can't prove anything. Nadia's voice was calm. We just recorded everything you said. Grant's face twisted. That's illegal. Nadia's eyes were cold. In this state, recording a conversation is legal with one-party consent. Maya consented. Grant's hands clenched. You're ruining a wedding. Dominic's voice was flat. You already did. Grant's eyes flashed. Ethan will hate you for this. Dominic's gaze was steady. Ethan will hate the people who tried to trap him. Grant's mouth tightened. Sloan is going to bury you. Dominic's smile was thin. Sloan doesn't have the shovel. Grant's face hardened. Then he leaned in toward Maya, voice low and vicious. You think you're special because you found a shiny ring. You're still just... Maya's voice rose, trembling but clear. I'm still just what? Grant froze, eyes flicking to Dominic, to the camera, to the witnesses. Maya's chest heaved, anger and fear blending into something stronger. "Say it," Maya whispered. "Say what you really think." Grant's jaw clenched. He didn't, because cowards like Grant only spoke truth when they thought no one with power was listening. Dominic's voice was quiet. "Get out!" Grant's eyes widened. "You can't." Dominic stepped closer, voice cold. "I can revoke your access to this property right now. I can call police right now. And I can hand them a recording of you assaulting a staff member." Grant's throat bobbed. He looked at Maya like he wanted to burn her into ash. Then he backed away slowly. "This isn't over," Grant hissed. Dominic's eyes didn't blink. "No, it's beginning." Grant fled up the stairs, footsteps fading. Maya stood shaking, wrist throbbing, chest tight. Ruth rushed in, grabbing Maya's face gently. "You okay?" Maya nodded, tears spilling. "I didn't run." Ruth's eyes shone. "No, you didn't." Dominic watched Maya quietly. "Good," he said. Maya swallowed, voice hoarse. "Now what?" Dominic's gaze shifted toward the hotel above them, where tomorrow's wedding waited like a stage. "Now," Dominic said, "we let them think they still have time." By morning, the hotel was a living machine. Florists hauled towering arrangements. Stylists rushed with garment bags. Musicians tested microphones. The ballroom smelled like roses and money. Maya watched it all from a side corridor near the executive wing, dressed not in her bar uniform, but in a simple navy dress Ruth had insisted on buying her years ago, for when life finally asks you to show up. Maya felt like she was wearing someone else's skin. Nadia sat at a small table nearby, laptop open, documents spread like a legal battlefield. Marcus monitored cameras on a tablet, eyes scanning. Dominic moved through the hallways with quiet authority. Ethan had not slept. Maya could see it in his face when he passed by, jaw tight, eyes hollow. He glanced at Maya, guilt heavy, and nodded once, like a promise. Around noon, Ruth arrived carrying a paper bag with sandwiches and a thermos of coffee. "You eat," Ruth ordered, shoving food into Maya's hands. Maya swallowed, barely tasting. Ruth leaned close. "You still breathing?" Maya nodded. Ruth's voice softened. "Then you're winning." Maya tried to smile. Nadia looked up from her laptop. "We have copies. Certified digital timestamps. Chain of custody notes. If they try to claim the codicil was fabricated, we can prove it was retrieved from Lockbox 117 on camera." Maya swallowed. "What about the birth certificate?" Nadia's gaze softened. "That's trickier. It can be challenged, but combined with the letter, it's compelling." Maya's chest tightened. "And if Eloan's daughter really is my mother," Nadia's voice was gentle, "then you may be entitled to DNA confirmation, but that's later. Today is about stopping a fraudulent marriage." Maya's stomach churned. "Fraudulent?" Nadia nodded. "If Sloane knowingly marries Ethan under deception to gain assets, that's fraud." Maya glanced toward the ballroom doors. "How do we prove she knew?" Dominic's voice answered from behind. "We already did." Maya turned. Dominic held a small flash drive between two fingers. Marcus's eyes sharpened. "Where did you get that?" Dominic's mouth tightened. "From Grant's office. He kept it hidden behind a framed photo of him and Ethan." Maya's stomach twisted. "What's on it?" Dominic's eyes were cold. A draft of a contract labeled post-marriage transfer agreement, signed by Sloane's charity accountant, and email threads discussing the codicil. Maya's pulse spiked. "Emails?" Dominic nodded. Grant was arrogant. He thought his access was untouchable. Nadia's eyes widened. If those emails explicitly mention the codicil, we have intent. Dominic's gaze flicked to Maya. We do. Maya's throat tightened. Then why not stop it now? Why wait? Dominic's voice was quiet. Because stopping it quietly lets them spin a story. They'll say Ethan got cold feet. They'll blame stress. They'll paint Maya as a stalker. They'll keep their reputations intact and try again later. Maya swallowed. Dominic continued, but stopping it publicly, with evidence, changes the calculus. It protects Ethan. It protects you. It protects the company from decades of litigation. Ruth muttered, and it gives justice its spotlight. Maya's stomach churned. Public exposure meant public cruelty. It meant phones again, screens again, judgment again. Maya's fingers trembled. I don't want to be a spectacle. Dominic's gaze softened. You don't have to be. You just have to stand in the truth. Maya swallowed hard. A staff member hurried past, whispering into a headset, "Bride is arriving." Maya's chest tightened. Sloane. The woman who'd thrown her out like trash. The woman who'd tried to paint her as a thief. The woman who might be building her future on a lie. Maya's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Last chance. Return the ring, or we ruin you. Maya stared at the screen, hands shaking. Ruth leaned in, voice low. They can't ruin what you don't hide. Maya swallowed. Stay, don't run. Maya typed back, slowly, carefully. See you at the vows. The reply came instantly. You won't make it to the vows. Maya's blood ran cold. Marcus looked up sharply. We've got movement near the executive elevators. 2 men in hotel uniforms that aren't on staff list. Dominic's expression hardened. They're making a play. Maya's pulse spiked. On me. Dominic's voice was calm but urgent. Yes. He turned to Marcus. Lock down the wing. Marcus moved, fingers flying across his tablet. Nadia snapped her laptop shut. If they try to physically retrieve the ring, we document and we call police. Ruth grabbed Maya's hand. You stay near me. Maya nodded, throat tight. Footsteps approached. 2 men rounded the corner, wearing maintenance uniforms, hats pulled low, their eyes scanned, locking on Maya. Maya's stomach dropped. One of them stepped forward, voice flat. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Maya's hands trembled. Why? He smiled without warmth. Management request. Dominic stepped in, voice cold. No. The man's gaze flicked to Dominic, recognition flashing, then calculation. Mr. Langford, we're just doing our job. Dominic's eyes were ice. Your job isn't in this building. The second man's hand moved toward his pocket. Marcus appeared behind them silently. Camera recording. Smile, Marcus said softly. You're on 3 angles. The first man's smile faltered. This is unnecessary. Dominic's voice was flat. So is kidnapping. The men exchanged a look. Then the second one lunged, not at Dominic, at Maya. Maya gasped as a hand grabbed her arm. Pain shot through her wrist again. The same place Grant had squeezed last night. Fear surged. Old instinct screamed, run! But Ruth's hand tightened around Maya's other arm, anchoring her. Stay! Ruth snapped, fierce. Maya's breath hitched. Dominic moved fast, grabbing the man's wrist and twisting. The man yelped, dropping whatever he'd reached for. Marcus stepped in, knocking the first man back with a shoulder and pinning him against the wall. Nadia raised her phone, already dialing. The hallway erupted in chaos for a few seconds, shoving, grunts, a muffled curse. Then it was over. Dominic held one man by the collar, voice low. Who sent you? The man spat, eyes wild. You think you can control everything? Dominic's eyes narrowed. Answer! The man's gaze flicked to Maya, hatred sharp. She doesn't belong here. Dominic's jaw tightened. Neither do you. Sirens wailed faintly in the distance. Nadia had called security and police. The men struggled, but Marcus and Dominic held them until hotel security, real security, arrived, shocked and pale. Dominic handed the men over like they were trash. Maya stood shaking, breath ragged. Ruth grabbed her face gently. Look at me. You're here. Maya's eyes burned. They tried to take me. Ruth's voice was fierce. And they failed. Dominic's gaze met Maya's. This is why we do it publicly, he said quietly, because they don't just want the ring. They want you scared enough to disappear. Maya swallowed, trembling. I almost ran. Ruth's eyes softened. But you didn't. Maya's chest ached. Across the hall, the ballroom doors opened slightly, and Maya caught a glimpse of white fabric, laughter, champagne. The world of the wedding continued, ignorant of the violence in the hallway, ignorant of the truth in Nadia's briefcase, ignorant of the ring pressed against Maya's skin like destiny. By late afternoon, guests filled the ballroom, a string quartet played, cameras flashed, people whispered about the incident yesterday like it was gossip, not a person's life. Maya stayed hidden in the executive wing, watching security feeds with Marcus. On one screen, Sloane stood in a bridal suite surrounded by bridesmaids, laughing too loudly. Her face was flawless, her smile bright, but her eyes kept flicking to her phone, checking, waiting. On another screen, Grant stood near the groomsman's lounge, jaw clenched, pretending to smile. He looked like a man trying to hold a dam together with his hands. Ethan sat alone for a moment, staring at the ring's painting in an old framed photograph Dominic had pulled from archives. Maya's chest tightened. Nadia leaned toward Maya. In 10 minutes, the ceremony begins. Maya swallowed hard. Nadia continued softly. You do not have to step into that ballroom if you don't want to. Maya stared at the screen showing Sloane's face. If I don't, she'll keep doing this to other people. Nadia's eyes softened. That's why justice stories matter. Maya's throat tightened. I'm not a story. Nadia's voice was gentle. No, you're a person, and this is your choice. Maya breathed in slowly, forcing air into her lungs. Stay, don't run. Maya nodded once. I'm going. Ruth squeezed Maya's hand. That's my girl. Dominic looked at Maya, voice calm. We do this clean. No yelling, no chaos unless they force it. We present evidence. We let the truth stand. Maya swallowed. And if they try to twist it? Dominic's gaze sharpened. Then we let them twist themselves into knots on camera. Marcus grinned faintly. 3 angles. They moved toward the ballroom, Maya's legs trembling with every step. As they reached the doors, Maya heard the officiant's voice begin, smooth and warm. Friends and family. Maya's heart pounded. This was the moment Sloane had been racing toward, the fuse. Dominic nodded to Nadia. Nadia stepped forward, opening her briefcase just enough to grip the codicil and the printed email chain. Marcus adjusted his camera. Ruth straightened her shoulders like armor. Maya touched the ring through the fabric of her dress, feeling its outline against her skin. The doors opened. The ballroom turned toward them like a single creature. A ripple moved through the guests, confusion, curiosity, irritation. Sloane stood at the front in a white gown, hand in Ethan's. She looked radiant. For half a second, then her eyes landed on Maya. And all the color drained from Sloane's face. Her smile faltered. Her hand tightened on Ethan's. Ethan's gaze met Dominic's. He swallowed, jaw tight. And then he did something that made Maya's breath catch. He let go of Sloane's hand. The room murmured. Sloane's eyes widened, panic flashing beneath the makeup. "Ethan," she whispered, voice too sweet, too loud. "What is this?" Dominic stepped forward, voice calm and carrying. "Before vows are exchanged," Dominic said, "there is a legal matter that must be addressed." The officiant blinked, confused. "Sir, we—" Dominic raised a hand politely. "I apologize for the interruption, but continuing without acknowledging this would be irresponsible." Grant stepped forward from the side, face tight. "Dominic, you're ruining this." Dominic's gaze flicked to Grant like a blade. "You already tried to ruin a young woman's life yesterday. Sit down." Gasps rippled through the guests. Sloane's voice rose, sharp. "This is insane. Remove them." Hotel security shifted uncertainly, caught between the bride's command and Dominic's authority. Nadia stepped forward, holding the papers. "Ms. Ashford," Nadia said calmly, "we have evidence that you have prior knowledge of the Larkins' codicil and have attempted to retrieve the Larkins' signet ring through false accusation and intimidation." Sloane's face twisted. "What are you talking about?" Maya's heart pounded as she stepped forward slightly, not into the aisle fully, but enough that people could see her. Phones lifted, screens glowed. Here we go again. Maya's throat tightened, but she forced her voice steady. "You called me a thief." Sloane's eyes flashed. "Because you are." Maya swallowed hard. "I found your family ring on the floor, but it isn't yours." Sloane laughed, high and brittle. "You expect anyone to believe you?" Maya's hands trembled. She looked out at the sea of faces. They didn't know her. They didn't care. But the ring did. Maya reached into her dress and pulled the ring out, holding it up so the chandelier light caught it. A collective intake of breath moved through the room. Maya's voice shook but held. "Look inside." Sloane's face went white. Dominic's voice was calm. "The engraving contains June 14th, today, and the initials E.L. A hush fell. An older woman in the front row, one of the family elders, made a small sound like she'd been struck. "Elawan." Sloane's lips trembled. "This is a stunt." Nadia's voice remained calm. "No, Ms. Ashford. This is evidence." She lifted a printed email chain, pages clipped neatly. "These emails show you discussing the codicil weeks ago with Grant Harlan, planning to neutralize it after marriage." Grant's face drained of color. Those are..." Marcus tapped his tablet, connecting to the ballroom's screen system Dominic controlled. A large monitor behind the officiant flickered on. The room turned. Video footage appeared. Grant in a stairwell grabbing Maya's wrist. Grant offering money. Grant saying, "People like you forget your place." The room erupted in shocked murmurs. Grant's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Sloane's eyes went wild. "Turn that off." Dominic's voice was flat. "No." Nadia lifted another document. This is the original Larkins codicil retrieved from Lockbox 117, opened with Elowin's signet ring. It states that if Ethan Langford marries under deception for financial gain, controlling shares transfer to Elowin's direct bloodline. Sloane's voice cracked. "That's forged!" Ethan's voice finally rang out, hoarse and firm. "It's not forged." The room froze. Sloane turned to him, eyes pleading. "Ethan, don't do this. They're manipulating you." Ethan swallowed, pain visible. "No, Sloane, you manipulated me." Sloane's face twisted, desperation rising. "I love you." Ethan's eyes filled with something like grief. "If you loved me, you wouldn't have tried to trap me." Sloane's voice sharpened. "I did what I had to do." "This family, this company, it's a machine. I was going to make it better." Dominic's eyes narrowed. By stealing it. Sloane's breath hitched, panic in her eyes as she looked around for support. Some guests looked away, some stared, some lifted their phones higher. Sloane's gaze landed on Maya, hatred burning. You think you're special because you found that ring. Maya's throat tightened. Then she remembered the letter. Choose justice instead. Maya's voice shook, but she stepped forward into the aisle. I don't think I'm special, Maya said quietly. I think you're scared. Sloane's lips trembled. You ruined my life. Maya swallowed hard. No, you tried to ruin mine. Sloane's voice rose. You don't belong here. Maya's eyes burned, but she held steady. Maybe I don't, but the truth does. Nadia stepped forward again, calm and lethal. Ms. Ashford, you have a choice. You can step away now, quietly, and cooperate with the investigation into fraudulent vendor payments and attempted coercion, or we proceed publicly with police present. Grant's face contorted. This is extortion. Dominic's voice was cold. No, this is consequence. The officiant looked stunned, hands shaking. Should I leave? Dominic's gaze softened. You may. The officiant stepped back, overwhelmed. Sloane's chest heaved, her eyes darted, calculating. For one flicker of a moment, Maya saw it. Not evil, survival. Sloane had built herself into a weapon because she believed softness would get her eaten. But she had chosen to eat first. Sloane's shoulders sagged, just slightly. Then she straightened and did what villains always did when cornered. She smiled. You want the truth? Sloane said loudly. Fine. The room hushed again. Sloane lifted her chin. Yes, I knew about the codicil. Yes, I wanted the ring, because that family has hoarded wealth like it's oxygen. I was going to take it and make them pay. Ethan flinched, grief sharpening. You were going to make me pay. Sloane's eyes flicked to him, bitter. You would have survived. Grant stepped forward, panicked. Sloane, stop! Sloane whipped her head toward him, eyes blazing. Don't you tell me what to do. You promised me this would work. Grant froze. A ripple of murmurs swept through the room, guests turning their heads, connecting dots. Sloane's breath hitched as she realized what she'd done. She'd implicated Grant. She'd confessed on camera. Nadia's expression remained calm. Thank you, Miss Ashford, she said softly. That's recorded. Sloane's face went white. Grant lunged toward Nadia, furious. Marcus stepped in, blocking him. Hotel security finally moved, this time not toward Maya, toward Grant, toward Sloane, because power had shifted. Sloane's voice rose, shrill. You can't do this, you can't. Dominic's voice cut through, cold and final. We can. Ethan stood still, hands clenched, eyes wet. Sloane turned to him, desperation breaking through. Ethan, please, please, I didn't mean... Ethan's voice cracked. You meant enough. Sloane sobbed, mascara threatening to run. Then she looked at Maya one last time, hatred and humiliation tangled. This isn't justice, Sloane hissed. This is cruelty. Maya's chest tightened. She could have said something sharp. She could have thrown Sloane's words back like knives. But the letter's last line burned. When you have the chance to be cruel in return, choose justice instead. Maya's voice was quiet. Justice isn't cruelty. It's truth with consequences. Sloane flinched like the words were heavier than shouting. Security escorted Sloane down the aisle. The room parted like water. Phones followed her. Grant struggled, shouting, "This is a setup." No one believed him now. The ballroom felt like it had been drained of air. Ethan stood at the front, alone. The flowers still smelled sweet. The string quartet had stopped. The wedding was dead. Maya stood in the aisle, shaking. This was the second time she'd been the center of a room full of phones, but this time she wasn't being dragged out. She was standing. Ruth appeared beside Maya, hand on her back. "You did it," Ruth whispered. Maya's throat tightened. "I don't feel like I did anything." Ruth's voice was fierce. "You stayed." Dominic stepped forward toward Ethan, voice gentle now. "Ethan?" Ethan's eyes were wet. "I loved her." Dominic's voice softened. "I know." Ethan swallowed, voice hoarse. "And I hurt people because I didn't pay attention." His gaze flicked to Maya. "I'm sorry." Maya's chest tightened. "I'm not the only one you need to apologize to." Ethan nodded, pain in his face. "I know." Nadia approached, calm. "We will proceed with legal steps. Grant will be investigated. Sloan will be investigated. The company will issue a statement." Dominic nodded once. "And Maya?" Nadia's eyes softened. "Maya will be protected." Maya swallowed, throat tight. "What happens to the codicil?" Dominic's gaze held hers. "It stands." "The trust will begin review." Maya's hands trembled. "And the letter, the birth certificate," Dominic's voice was quiet. "Those will be handled carefully. We will locate records. We will search for Eloin's daughter." Maya's voice cracked. "If she's my mother..." Dominic's eyes softened. "Then you deserve to know." Ethan stepped closer, voice raw. "And if you're tied to that family, you deserve better than what happened to you." Maya's eyes burned. "Better isn't a gift. It's something I've never been allowed to take." Ethan swallowed. "Then take it." Maya stared at him. Then she looked around the ballroom. The guests were murmuring, whispering, already building stories. Some looked ashamed, some looked entertained, some looked curious. Maya's chest tightened. She could feel old fear trying to claw her back into invisibility. But Ruth's hand pressed steady on her back. "Stay. Don't run." Maya lifted her chin and walked out of the ballroom, not being escorted, not being dragged, walking. Dominic and Nadia and Marcus moved with her. Ethan followed quietly. In the corridor outside, the noise of the ballroom softened. Maya leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Ruth handed her water. "Drink." Maya swallowed, hand shaking. Ethan stood a few feet away, giving her space, eyes heavy with regret. Maya looked at him. "You're going to be okay." Ethan let out a broken laugh. "I don't feel okay." Maya's voice was gentle. "Good. It means you're awake." Ethan swallowed hard. "What do you want now?" Maya stared at the ring, still in her hand. She thought of her childhood, the foster homes, the files. The caseworker's eyes sliding away when Maya asked why she had no family. She thought of Eloin's letter. "You will also have the codicil. It will protect you, but it will also paint a target on you." Maya's chest tightened. "I want..." She started, voice trembling. Ruth squeezed her hand. "Say it." Maya swallowed. "I want my name to be mine." Dominic nodded slowly. "Then we find the truth," Nadia added softly, "and we make sure no one can erase it." Over the next hour, the hotel turned into a controlled storm. Police arrived, statements were taken. Dominic's team locked down records. Nadia coordinated with authorities. Marcus archived footage. Maya sat in the executive suite with Ruth, staring out at the rain that had returned like the city was washing itself clean. Ethan came to the suite door, hesitated, then knocked softly. Ruth eyed him like she was deciding whether to bite. Maya nodded once. "It's okay." Ethan stepped inside, eyes tired. He looked at Maya like she was both a stranger and something familiar he hadn't earned. He swallowed. "I don't know how to fix this." Maya's voice was quiet. You can't fix what you didn't break. Ethan flinched. But I benefited from it. Maya nodded slowly. Yes. Ethan's jaw tightened. Then tell me what to do. Maya stared at him for a long moment. Then she said, be the kind of man who doesn't let your world crush people just because it can. Ethan's eyes filled. I want to be. Maya's throat tightened. Then start by telling the truth publicly, not just in private, not just to your lawyer. Ethan swallowed hard. The board will... Maya's gaze sharpened. Let them. Ethan nodded slowly, resolve forming. Okay, Ruth muttered. Good answer. Ethan looked at Maya again. And if you need anything, if you want help... Maya's chest tightened. I want answers. Ethan nodded. Then you'll have them. He hesitated. And Maya looked up. Ethan's voice cracked. Thank you for not letting me marry a lie. Maya swallowed hard. Thank you for letting go of her hand when it mattered. Ethan's eyes shone. I almost didn't. Maya's voice was soft. But you did. When Ethan left, Ruth exhaled. He's hurting. Maya nodded. Good. Ruth glanced at her. That sounded harsh. Maya swallowed. No, I mean, it's good he's feeling it. It means he'll change. Ruth nodded slowly. Redemption starts with discomfort. Maya stared at the rain. Her phone buzzed. A new message. Unknown number, but the tone was different. Your mother's name was Mara. She didn't die. She ran. I'm sorry. Maya's breath caught. Her hands trembled. Ruth leaned in, reading, eyes widening. Who sent that? Maya swallowed, voice shaking. I don't know. Dominic entered the room moments later, face serious. We've identified the account behind the message. Maya's heart hammered. Who? Dominic's gaze softened slightly. Sloane's former assistant. Maya blinked. The one who looked like she wanted to help yesterday? Dominic nodded. She's been living in fear. She came forward once Sloane was in custody. She says Elowen's daughter, Mara, was paid to disappear years ago. She ran because she thought staying would get her killed. Maya's chest tightened, tears rising. My mother ran. Ruth squeezed Maya's hand. Maybe she ran to save you. Maya swallowed, shaking. Maybe. Dominic's voice was quiet. We have a lead. A town in Georgia. A name on a clinic record. We can pursue it. Maya's breath hitched. Will she want to see me? Dominic's gaze softened. We can't control that. We can only offer truth. Maya's eyes burned. I've lived my whole life with questions. I can't keep living like that. Ruth's voice was fierce. Then you won't. Maya swallowed. Wiping tears, Dominic stepped closer, voice gentle. Maya, the trust board will convene in 48 hours. The codicil will be validated. Media will ask questions. People will try to make you a headline. Maya's stomach twisted. Dominic continued, you can choose privacy. You can choose to walk away with a settlement. Or you can choose involvement, ownership, responsibility, a public role. Maya's hands trembled. I don't want to be their mascot. Dominic nodded. Then don't be. Maya stared at the ring, then at Ruth, then at the rain. I want to do one thing first, Maya said quietly. Dominic's brows lifted. What? Maya's voice steadied. I want to go back to that lobby. Ruth blinked. Why? Maya swallowed. Because that's where they tried to erase me, and I want to exist there without being afraid. Dominic's gaze softened. Then we'll go. That evening, when the hotel had quieted and most guests had fled, Maya walked into the marble lobby again. The chandelier still glowed, the front desk still shined, but the air felt different. No crowd, no phones, no laughter like knives. Dominic walked beside her. Ruth walked on her other side. Marcus stood a few feet back, watchful, Nadia remained nearby, calm. Maya stood in the exact spot where she'd been dragged. She looked at the revolving door and felt her chest tighten. Ruth squeezed her hand. "You're here." Maya swallowed. "I'm here." Dominic's voice was quiet. "You were never a thief, Maya." Maya's eyes burned. "They made me feel like I was." Dominic nodded. "Because shame is a leash." Maya inhaled slowly. Then she did something she hadn't planned. She walked up to the front desk, where a young receptionist looked up, startled. "Can I help you?" the receptionist asked politely. Maya swallowed, voice steady. "Yes, I'm Maya Carter. I work the bar. I was accused yesterday." The receptionist's face flushed. Maya continued calmly, "I'm not here to argue. I'm here to say, your lobby is not a place where you get to humiliate staff for entertainment." Silence. The receptionist's eyes widened, glancing nervously at Dominic, recognizing him. Maya didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "I found a ring," Maya said, placing her palm on the counter. "I tried to do the right thing, and I was punished." Her throat tightened, but she kept going. "If you see something like that again," Maya said quietly, "you speak up, because silence is how people like Sloane get power." The receptionist swallowed, eyes shining. "Yes, ma'am." Maya exhaled, feeling something release in her chest. Ruth whispered, "That was beautiful." Maya's voice cracked slightly. "I didn't know I could say it." Ruth smiled. "You can say anything when you're done being afraid." As they turned to leave, Maya saw the same column where Dominic had watched yesterday. She stared at it, imagining her past self there, small, shaking, ashamed. Maya lifted her chin. "Stay. Don't run." She walked out through the revolving door, not as someone being expelled, as someone choosing her own exit. 2 days later, the board convened. Maya didn't attend the meeting itself. Nadia handled legal ground. Dominic handled corporate muscle, but Maya stood in the hallway outside, hands clasped, ring in her pocket. Ruth sat beside her, knitting like she was stitching calm into the air. Ethan arrived, eyes tired but steady. He nodded to Maya and sat down across from her, leaving space between them like respect. He spoke softly. "How are you holding up?" Maya swallowed. "I don't know," Ethan nodded. "Fair." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Ethan said, voice low, "I posted a statement." Maya looked up. Ethan swallowed. "I told the truth about Sloane, about Grant, about the attempted intimidation, about the codicil, about you being falsely accused." Maya's throat tightened. "You didn't have to." Ethan's eyes held hers. "I did." Maya's chest ached. "If people will come after you," Ethan nodded. "Good. Let them come for me instead of you." Maya stared at him, surprised by the sincerity. Ruth muttered, "Finally, a rich man with a spine." Ethan almost smiled. The board meeting lasted hours. When Dominic finally emerged, his face was serious but not grim. Nadia followed, calm as ever. Dominic looked at Maya, eyes softening. "The codicil is validated." Maya's breath caught. "What does that mean?" Nadia spoke gently. "It means Eloan's directive stands. It means protective provisions activate. It means the trust will allocate a portion of controlling shares into a transitional hold pending confirmation of Eloan's direct bloodline." Maya's chest tightened. "Pending confirmation," Dominic nodded. "We have a lead on Mara." Maya's breath hitched. "Where?" Dominic's voice was quiet. "A clinic in Georgia, a woman with her name, age matches, records show she gave birth and then disappeared again." Maya's heart pounded. "Can we go?" Dominic nodded. "We can, but Maya, it may not be what you imagine." Maya swallowed, tears rising. Nothing in my life has been what I imagined. Ruth squeezed her hand. Then you'll survive whatever it is. Maya nodded, shaking. Ethan stood slowly. If you want, I'll come. Maya blinked. Why? Ethan's voice was soft. Because I owe you more than an apology, and because I want to do one thing right for once without being pushed. Maya stared at him, then nodded slowly. Okay. They drove to Georgia the next morning. The town was small, quiet, with a main street lined with cracked sidewalks and faded signs. It felt like the kind of place where people hid because no one looked too closely. The clinic was modest, beige, with a waiting room that smelled like disinfectant and old magazines. Maya sat in a chair, hands shaking, ring in her pocket like a talisman. Ruth sat beside her, calm. Dominic spoke to the receptionist quietly, showing documents. Nadia remained outside, coordinating. Ethan stood near the wall, hands clasped, face pale. After 20 minutes, a nurse appeared, eyes kind. "Miss Carter?" the nurse asked. Maya's breath caught. "Yes," Maya whispered. The nurse nodded gently. "She agreed to see you." Maya's knees nearly gave out. Ruth grabbed her hand. "Breathe." Maya inhaled, shaking. They followed the nurse down a hallway to a small room with a window overlooking a parking lot. A woman sat inside. Late 50s, dark hair streaked with grey, lines around her eyes like she'd smiled and cried 1,000 times, hands clasped tightly in her lap. She looked up when Maya entered, and Maya felt something in her chest crack open, because the woman's eyes looked like hers, not in color, in shape, in the way they held fear like a habit. The woman stood slowly, trembling. "Maya," she whispered. Maya's throat closed. "Are you Mara?" The woman's eyes filled instantly. "Yes." Maya's breath hitched. Mara stepped forward, then stopped like she was afraid to touch Maya and shatter her. "I didn't know if you were real," Mara whispered. Maya's voice broke. "I didn't know if you were." Mara's hands trembled. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." Maya's tears spilled. "Why did you leave me?" Mara flinched like she'd been stabbed. "Because they told me if I stayed, they'd take you and make sure you never existed." Maya's chest tightened. "They did take me," Mara sobbed. "I tried to come back. I tried, but every time I got close, someone would appear, someone would remind me, someone would threaten." Maya's hand shook. "Who?" Mara swallowed, eyes darting to Dominic, who stood quietly in the doorway. Mara's voice was hoarse. "Eloin's brother." Dominic's face tightened. Maya stared. "What?" Dominic swallowed. "My father," he said quietly. Maya's stomach dropped. Ruth muttered, "Oh Lord, it's always family." Mara's eyes filled. "He said Eloin's legacy belonged to men. He said I was a mistake." Maya's chest tightened. Dominic's voice was low, pained. "I didn't know. I was young. I thought Eloin was the villain." Mara looked at Dominic, tears in her eyes. "Eloin tried to protect me. She wrote that codicil because she knew he'd come after me." Maya's throat tightened. "And you ran." Mara nodded, sobbing. "I ran to save you." Maya's whole body trembled. "Stay, don't run." Eloin had written it, but Mara had done the opposite. Not because she was weak, because she was terrified. Maya stepped forward slowly. Mara flinched. Then Maya reached out and took her mother's hands. Warm, real. Mara broke, sobbing, collapsing into Maya's arms. Maya held her, shaking, crying, feeling years of emptiness fill with pain and presence at the same time. Ruth wiped her eyes silently. Ethan looked away, throat tight. Dominic stood still, face carved with regret. After a long moment, Mara pulled back, eyes wet. "I don't deserve you." Maya swallowed hard. "I don't know what we deserve." Mara's hands trembled. "Do you hate me?" Maya's chest tightened. She could hate her for the foster homes, the loneliness, the unanswered questions. But she saw Mara's fear. She saw the survival. She saw the same instinct in herself. Maya whispered, "I don't hate you." Mara sobbed again. Maya swallowed. "I'm angry." Mara nodded, broken. "You should be," Maya breathed, shaking. "But I want to know you." Mara's face crumpled with relief. Maya reached into her pocket and pulled out the ring. Mara's eyes widened, recognizing it instantly. "Elowen's ring," Mara whispered. Maya nodded, voice trembling. "It has my birthday inside." Mara sobbed. "She engraved it because she knew you'd be born. She wanted you to have a way back." Maya's throat tightened. "Back to what?" Mara looked at her, eyes fierce now through tears. "Back to your name, back to your worth, back to the truth." Maya's chest ached. For years, Maya had thought she was floating, untethered, unnamed, unclaimed, and now she realized she'd been tethered all along, not to money, to a woman's stubborn love written into a ring. Maya's voice was quiet. "I was humiliated in that hotel." Mara flinched. "I'm sorry." Maya swallowed. "I stood up anyway." Mara's eyes shone. "You're stronger than I was." Maya's throat tightened. "No." Maya squeezed Mara's hands. "You ran so I could live. That's strength." Mara sobbed softly. Dominic cleared his throat, voice low. Mara, I can't undo what my father did. But I can honor what Elowen wanted." Mara looked at him, eyes tired. "Then do it." Dominic nodded, jaw tight. "I will." Outside the clinic, the Georgia sun hung low, warm and gentle. Maya walked out with Mara beside her, Ruth on her other side, Ethan behind them, Dominic a step away. For the first time in her life, Maya didn't feel like she was walking alone through the world, and that was the real justice, not the ballroom. Not the police, not the headlines. It was the simple fact that someone had finally looked at her and said, "You're mine," without trying to own her. Weeks later, the media storm came. Some outlets painted Maya as a mysterious heir. Some called her a con artist. Some called her a Cinderella. Maya didn't read most of it. She focused on what was real. Ruth's diner, where regulars now nodded at Maya with respect instead of pity. Mara, sitting at Maya's kitchen table, learning how to be present without flinching. Ethan, quietly working with Nadia to restructure vendor oversight and refund stolen funds to staff programs. Dominic, standing in front of the board and admitting publicly that the company had protected power over people for too long, and the ring, always near Maya's skin. One evening, Maya stood in Ruth's diner after closing, wiping tables like she'd done 100 times. Ruth watched her, smiling. "You don't have to do that anymore," Ruth said. Maya shrugged. "I like it." Ruth's eyes softened. "You're still you," Maya smiled faintly. "I'm more me than I've ever been," Ruth nodded. "That's the best kind of rich." Maya's phone buzzed with a message from Ethan. "Board approved the staff fund. Named it Elowen's Promise. You okay with that?" Maya stared at the words, chest tightening. She typed back, "Yes, but make sure the fund helps people who don't know they're worth fighting for yet." Ethan replied almost instantly, "Done." Maya pocketed her phone and looked at Ruth. Ruth raised an eyebrow. "What?" Maya swallowed. I think this story doesn't end with someone falling. It ends with someone building." Ruth smiled. "Now you're talking like Elowen." Maya's throat tightened. "Elowen wrote, 'Stay, don't run.' Ruth nodded, eyes shining. She was right. Maya breathed in, feeling the ring press against her skin. Stay. Don't run. Maya had stayed, and because she stayed, an arrogant bride lost her mask, a corrupt friend lost his access, a good man woke up, and a mother found her daughter again. So here's my question for you. Be honest. If you were Maya, would you have exposed Sloane right there at the altar in front of everyone? Or would you have handled it privately to avoid the spectacle? Team expose at the altar, or team handle it privately?